Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam, here with my brief thoughts on Eternals. This was directed by Chloe Zhao, who directed only the Best Picture winner at the Oscars last year, Nomadland, and the movie stars a great deal of people, including Gemma Chan, Barry Keoghan, Salma Hayek, and Kit Harington, among many others. And this is yet another installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It tells the story of, the Eternals, a race of beings who arrived on Earth pretty much in the beginning. Literally, the first words in the movie are, in text, in the beginning. They have watched over humanity and have stepped in to help in human progress when needed. However, their greatest enemy, the Deviants, who were long thought dead, have arrived back and seemingly stronger than ever, and so the Eternals must reunite to stop them. To say that this movie is divisive is like saying water is wet. This movie has now gotten the lowest score on Rotten Tomatoes, and there are a good chunk of people who do not like this movie. As a matter of fact, on Film Twitter and just Letterboxd and everywhere in between, there's a good chunk of people who absolutely love this movie and think it's top-tier MCU, and others who think that this is it, this is going to be the end of the MCU as we know it. Some of them are actually cheering for this, but hey, they gotta make that content. As usual, I went into this movie with an open mind, just like I do with every movie. I look at reviews just to see and gauge things and just see where the wind is blowing, but ultimately, my opinion is my opinion. I don't let other opinions try and sway me. So after watching Eternals, I can safely say that it is not perfect. However, I respect Marvel's ambition. I think I can safely say that I respect this movie more than I like it. That sounds very weird, but I'll try and explain myself. Firstly, though, I think the acting for the most part was very good. Specifically from Gemma Chan. She was my favorite character in the movie, and she was by far and away the most interesting. There were some other good performances here, specifically from Kumail Nanjiani and Brian Tyree Henry. They were more of the comic relief, and, their jokes had about a 75% hit rate. However, they did have some good moments. I'll talk more about the characters in a little bit, but overall, this was a very well-acted movie. I love the look of the Eternals. I love their suits. I love the little, cursor. It kind of looks like a cursor. The cursor spaceship that they fly around in. As far as vibes, this is far different from any MCU movie. I'll talk more about that in a second. I love the scale of this movie in certain aspects. Specifically, Arishem. When you see him, or see it, I guess, it is massive. The movie puts over the Celestials in a big way. And when you see the Celestials, it's like, good lord, these things are massive. When I first saw them in the trailer, I was like, oh, this is the off-brand, non-union, legally distinct version of Galactus. There are some things that I didn't like. And I think that can be chalked up to this movie is very long. This movie is just over 2.5 hours. With 25 minutes of trailers, you are looking to invest 3 hours, and I mean that. Maybe it's because I saw this movie at a rather late showing. I saw it at 9:45 last night, but there were several times where I was nodding off, and I'm not trying to be a troll. I'm not trying to be like, oh, the movie sucks. No, I'm not trying to be that. But I was sitting there and I was watching it, and by the 4th or 5th scene, where the Eternals are just talking to each other about their mission, I was like, what? Because there are so many scenes in this movie where the Eternals just stand around and talk. And they talk. And they talk. And they talk some more. And sometimes this can be good. However, some of these conversations just feel kind of out of left field, because the movie only develops 2 of the Eternals, and the rest are kind of just there. One of the more disappointing ones was Phobos, played by Brian Tyree Henry. I was interested to see what they would do with him, because there's a scene in the movie where he invents the steam engine in 500 BC, like Babylon times. And they're like, humans are not going to like that. And so he's like, all right, here's the plow. So he believes in humanity. And then the next time we see him, he is in Hiroshima in 1945. We all know what happened there. And he's in tears. He's like, I shouldn't have done this. And he loses faith in humanity. That could have been an effective scene if it were built up. But instead we go from, I love humanity, to humanity can kick rocks. So fast that it will almost give you whiplash. Also, there are several Eternals who, if you were to line them up, I could not name them. And I'm not trying to be harsh, but just, I feel like they were just kind of there just to be there. If they're in the comics, then okay, that's fine and good. Like, just to fill out that quota. However, the movie, like I said, it only develops like Gemma Chan, somewhat Brian Tyree Henry, Kumail Nanjiani, and I think that's about it. Also Ikaris. And speaking of Ikaris, there's a twist in the movie involving him. I guessed it the first time I saw him. And again, I'm not trying to be like, oh, look at me and my script writing brain. No, I'm not trying to be like that. The first time that I saw him in a certain scene involving South Dakota, I was thinking to myself, I think I know where this is headed. And I was absolutely correct. However, when I say I respect this movie, I respect the MCU's guts for trying to make a movie like this. Because this movie introduces concepts and asks these deeper questions that, for the MCU, have never really been addressed before. There's a great scene where Arishem takes Cersei, Gemma Chan's character, basically tells them the nature of the Eternals and the Deviants, and basically their whole mission. Again, no spoilers, but it's low-key my favorite scene in the movie. It's all about having a purpose and then one day being like, is this purpose righteous? Or am I just following blindly? It's quite good. There are some scenes involving Barry Keoghan to where basically his power is mind control. And so he's like, I could control these people and end war like right now. And Salma Hayek's character is like, no, don't do that. We gotta let them handle themselves. I respect Kevin Feige and Chloe Zhao for trying to introduce these deeper concepts and trying to move the MCU forward, because they can't do the same MCU formula forever. People are going to get tired of it. However, it's also kind of a pariah because the movie tries to do these different things, it also kind of sticks to its formula at the same time. It's kind of complicated. I think my thoughts at the end of the day are, if you like this movie or if you hate this movie, I respect your opinion in equal measure. I respect this movie for trying to do new things. However, by trying to do new things, it kind of slows itself down and makes it kind of a less action-heavy movie. And because the movie doesn't exactly do a great job of developing most of the Eternals, you're just stuck with these people and you're just sitting there like, didn't we have this conversation like 20 minutes ago? Ultimately, though, there is a lot of effort put forth into this, and so with that in mind, I am going to give it a good rating. I would say that this is one of the more disappointing movies that I've seen all year. However, as someone who has had no experience with the Eternals whatsoever, I know that there was a graphic novel written by Neil Gaiman, so I have not read that, but I have no experience with the Eternals, so I don't know if this is exactly faithful or not. But even then, this movie feels very long and kind of boring at times. But the movie is, generally speaking, well acted, there's some good action, and ultimately, the movie's heart is in the right place. It is certainly not top tier MCU for me, however, it is certainly not the worst MCU movie. There is too much effort in here to be labeling this the worst MCU movie. That is still Iron Man 2 by a country mile. But I'm interested to know, did you see Eternals? What were your thoughts on it? Leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. Also, stay tuned for I'm going to be taking part in a collab with Jacob Martin. We're going to be talking about the incredible war movie Hacksaw Ridge. I'm going to be doing a collab with The Matrix Reloaded with Brevin over at Brevin's Flicks and Games. And also on Sunday, I'm going to be dropping my first I Finally Watched video in a very long time, where I'm going to be talking about The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam. I'll see you in the next one.